So far, there's a lawsuit, just a lawsuit of 51 people that have come down with radiation sickness that helped out in the Fukushima disaster. Now, I've seen photos of people basically mopping up sea foam that was basically radioactivity off the decks of the aircraft carrier. I don't know what the state of the aircraft carrier is right now. And there's people that, like, this is why I make, the kind of videos that I do. And it's kind of funny that I haven't really covered Fukushima a lot more. I figured enough people were covering it bad on me, because for the amount that I talk about nuclear weapons and the devastation that they're going to cause. When I look at this, it's like, we have a nuclear nightmare right in front of us. And, people take notes. This is small scale to a thermonuclear war, but it's the ultimate dirty bomb, right? Is the reactors melting down. So the U.S. Ronald Reagan ended up in the area to offer their assistance, and what ended up happening is the filtration system that brings in the seawater into the aircraft carrier filters it out for people to drink. You can run it through it's basically all the water that gets filtered through the aircraft carrier actually was taking in radioactive ocean water. There's people that, like, the list of illnesses and people with thyroid cancers, other people their intestines are starting to liquefy, and these are all young 20-some-odd-year-old people. Like, to me, they're kids, and the health problems of cancers, destroying their bodies from the inside out, and they're radioactive is and just because there's only 51 people that have done the lawsuit doesn't mean that's, I'm sure the entire ship must be affected to some degree, because everybody's, using the same thing. And the reason why there's a lawsuit is that they were told that that area of the water was safe for the aircraft carrier and they could go in. And people believe the company line. They believe and this is what gets me in history. You'll see it time and time again. You'll have a conversation like this with some people, and you say, look, the government sometimes lies, and sometimes their lies are catastrophic. And some people just can't believe that they would do that. So, to me, when you have, the idea of the government says, oh, no, everything's fine, everything's, but, they're telling you that because they don't want you to panic. And I get that, but the reason why people panic is because they lie to them, and when they find out the truth in a very, harsh way, that's what they're panicked to. But if you say, look, we don't know what's going to happen, just be honest, we don't know what's going to happen. This is a first. But we have a good idea that you might want to protect yourself from this, regardless how far away you are, because the effects do seem to be reaching North America quite, arguably there's going to be a lot of speculation and some of the stuff I'm going to bring up, but it looks like that. And what are the effects going to be in the long run? Well, again, these sailors on the U.S. Ronald Reagan, that's what the effects are going to be, and that's pretty horrible. That's and these are all young people. Like, their lives are destroyed. And some of them are probably going to die pretty shortly. Depending on how bad they were, how bad their dosages were. And just to give you an idea of how bad it is, like the certain types of radiations, I won't get too much into that because I'm not an expert on that, but basically 2 grams of radiation could make what you call it, the big park in Central Park in New York completely on an app. Like, you couldn't go in there again after just 2 grams of this type of radiation. That's it. That's how bad it is. So now when we put that into kind of scale, you can see very clearly that there's a major problem. So I don't know what the status of the U.S. Ronald Reagan is, because if that went through all the system, that stuff, you're going to be replacing a lot of parts. It's not something you can really clean out, So I don't know what the status of the ship is, but I guess we'll have to just wait and see. But yeah, so that's one place to check, because that's what's going to happen to people. Hence why we've got to get rid of, nuclear power. It's not safe enough. Yeah, it's a very unlikely event, but so was this. But this is what happens when something does go wrong. You can't contain it. All right. So if you know any more information about the U.S. Ronald Reagan, where it is, what it's doing, post it down below. Aircraft carrier U.S. Ronald Reagan. So far, there's a lawsuit, just a lawsuit of 51 people that have come down with radiation sickness that helped out in the Fukushima disaster. Now, I've seen photos of people basically mopping up sea foam that was basically radioactivity off the decks of the aircraft carrier. I don't know what the state of the aircraft carrier is right now. And there's people that like, this is why I make, you know, the kind of videos that I do. And it's kind of funny that I haven't really covered Fukushima a lot more. I figured enough people were covering it, bad on me, because for the amount I talk about nuclear weapons and the devastation that they're going to cause,